Go ahead. Hi, everybody. Kim's going to take you on a real quick tour of my office, my Santa Claus and Christmas office, and let you see everything that's going on in here in this madman's office. We had a friend of ours that took a look at our first two episodes, and he said, Jack, they're so informative. You got so much information in there. Really fun. People should love it. He said, you know, the only thing is some of the production values, the cuts and stuff, and the lack of music and that sort of stuff, it just doesn't sync with what you're looking for episodes that's going to be online. Excuse me. And I said, you know, we're not going for a James Cameron film. We're not going for a Brian De Palma film or Martin Scorsese. You know, I want this to be a little bit rough. I don't want to put in special effects and music and everything else. You know, Oliver Cromwell, who was Prime Minister in England many, many centuries ago, was a unattractive looking man physically, arguably the most powerful man of his times. And his portrait artist asked Mr. Cromwell, how do you want me to paint you? And without blinking, Cromwell said, warts and all. And that's how I want this to be, whether we're talking about production values or whether we're talking about how, in this episode, I'm going to admit a mistake that I made. No quarterback throws a perfect pass every time, and I've sure had my share of fumbles and interceptions, and I want to cover it all. So what I want to start about in this episode is that you're different. I'm different, okay? People who want to write and who want to be in the entertainment industry and who want to direct or produce or act or whatever they want to do, we're very, very different from other people. And that might sound a little elitist. Sorry if it does. You know, I said earlier, I think that modesty and humility are overrated virtues. You better be confident in yourself. And part of being confident in yourself is knowing that you are different. I started out my writing career when I was in second grade at Myra Bradwell Elementary School on the south side of Chicago. And I would write these little scenes, and I had 3 kids in my class that were really great at a young age. They were great artists, and they'd look at what I had written, and they draw pictures of dinosaurs coming out of a jungle, and they'd pass it over to me, and I'd send them more things. What I didn't know was that I was storyboarding, even in an early age. All I've ever wanted to be was a writer, director, producer, not an actor. I sure don't want to be on the other side of the camera, but I wanted to do that, and that's all I've ever done. And I got a hunch that most of you who are taking your valuable time to watch my videos, that's how you feel too. And you know, I suppose it takes a certain, for want of a better word, a certain conceit to think that we can sit in front of this screen, this blank screen, and we can go like that, and we can create a whole world. We bring characters to life. We put them into situations. I mean, that's as close as you can come to being godlike for mere mortals like us. When Kim and I first started seriously going together, and she brought me back to Omaha to meet her parents, and she tried to explain to her father what it was that I did. And I don't think he got it. You know, here's a guy that, you know, was a top financial guy for Omaha Power and Light. He was with them for 25 years. tremendous businessman, did everything by the book, would balance his checkbook out to the penny. You try to explain a writer to that poor guy. You know, I think he thought I had some kind of side hustle going. But we're different. And every once in a while, I'll think about it. I'll wonder, why are we different? Well, you know, maybe thousands, hundreds of thousands of years ago, there were aliens from other planets that came here and they inseminated some of us, and we're the descendants of that. Maybe it's just a divine seed that's placed inside of us special people. And I'll talk about that in other episodes as well. But we are different. And the thing that just kind of cracks me up once in a while is when somebody will say, how do you do it? How do you do this thing? Sitting in front of that blank screen and creating a world. When I lived in Palm Springs, California, I was friends with a great guy named Todd Zeal. Todd had the distinction of having played for more Major League Baseball teams than any other player in history. And at the time that I was meeting with him, we got to be buddies. At the time I was meeting with him one day, he was with the St. Louis Cardinals. And I said, Todd, you know, we were waxing a little philosophical. I said, how is it that you can stand at that plate with a stick and somebody's throwing what's basically a rock at you at 95 or 100 miles an hour, and you swing that stick and you hit that rock 2 or 3 out of every 10 times? How can you possibly do it? Todd thought about it for a second and he said, you know, Jack, I just don't think about it much. And I think he really hit on something. You just do it. And that's why one of the subjects I want to talk about today is, here comes the air quotes, writer's block. You know, it's one of the biggest scams that's ever been foisted on the general public, on writers, on anybody that's involved with writing. The idea that we're in this lofty tower and all of a sudden the clouds turn gray and we can't figure out how to write anymore. What a bunch of nonsense. There is no such thing as writer's block. I can sit down today, the minute I get off of this video, and I can write 20 pages. They may not be the greatest 20 pages, but I can write them, and so can you. And to second guess yourself, oh, my fragile ego, I have writer's block today, I can't write. That's nonsense. You know what you've got? You've got, and this is a real thing, what is called the moment of revulsion. There comes a time when you will look for anything else to do but write. You'll watch an episode of Pawn Stars, you'll organize your closets, you'll go out for lunch, you'll do anything but write. I don't know why that is, but it is. And what you need to do is you need to get past that. If you ever experience this nonsense called writer's block, here's a good tip for you. And I've never had to worry about it, but it sounds like something that's worked. You go to the last page that you wrote, and you take that page and put it in front of you and retype it, word for word. And by the time you get to the end of that page, you're in motion. Your joints are oiled, and you're going, and you've got your rhythm, and you go on from there. No such thing as writer's block. So Kim's giving me the high sign that we're kind of running out of time here. I wanted to cover some of my flaws and faux pas that I've made in a long and hopefully storied career, but we'll save that for the next episode. I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. And don't believe in writer's block. Get out there, start writing. Have a blessed day.